Hey, it's Dusty Showers with Creepy Creatures, Termite and Pest Control. And when it comes to bees and wasps, we're Pinellas County's experts. Bees and wasps can look really similar, but there are some big differences. The first one being with honeybees. Honeybees love to make big, giant nests. They can start off as small nests, but in many cases they can get really big. Some of them even have over 100 pounds of honey in them. And while everybody thinks that honeybees are on the brink of endangerment, we actually have a 22-year high on honeybee populations. In Pinellas County, we've got a lot of honeybees, and they tend to come around in cycles. It can be really, really quiet, and then all of a sudden when honeybees start to swarm, we get tons of phone calls. And what that means is a honeybee hive will get to a certain size, and then a group of individuals will break off and go out and try to start a new colony. And this is a very common phone call that we get. This huge beehive was discovered when Hurricane Irma broke this massive oak tree apart. You'll get lots of opinions on this, but we've been doing this for 25 years, and in most cases, the hive does not need to be removed. Now, literally, you'll get a ton of other people saying that the hive has to be removed. But we've done this for a long time, and rarely do we remove the hive, and we never, ever have issues. We just tell people if it does become an issue, then we can happily remove the hive. But why spend all the money to have that done when it probably won't become an issue? But when you stir up a yellow jacket nest, watch out. These guys will come at you. If you've got a bee suit on, they're gonna be all over your suit, and they're gonna be looking at the seams, where the head meets the shoulders, where your gloves meet, where your ankles meet, and if there's any kind of opening, they're gonna get you, and they're gonna get you hard. Yellow jackets aren't something for a beginner to handle. If things go bad, they go real bad. And it might seem like you're paying a lot of money to get the problem taken care of, but remember, with bees and yellow jackets, you're not necessarily paying to have the problem taken care of, but you're paying to make sure that things don't go wrong. Because when they do, they go wrong. And when things go bad with a bee or a yellow jacket nest, you can't just say stop, or you can't just walk away. Those guys will follow you, especially yellow jackets. They will do everything they can to get a piece of you. And this is not the time to find out that you're allergic. I'm not allergic, but depending on how and where they sting me, sometimes it can be quite painful. When you get yellow jacket stings around your feet, where you have to stand up and all the blood rushes to your feet, that's going to be painful and really hard to sleep. Don't mess around with bees and yellow jackets by yourself. Call the professionals. You can call us or text us at 727-488-5657 and ask about our 110% money back guarantee for our annual pest control program. If you're not happy, not only do you not pay, but we'll also give you $25 for your time and trouble. Check out our website at creepycreaturestermiteandpestcontrol.com. And always be kind to possums and pit bulls. Saving the bees is a big mantra among people, and really there's a lot of misinformation out there, and we love honeybees, and honeybees are definitely beneficial, but we've got some things that aren't necessarily true. Like I mentioned before, honeybee populations are at a 22-year high. We've got a lot of honeybees in Pinellas County. What we also have are Africanized honeybees. They're just like regular honeybees, except they're more aggressive. You definitely don't want to get stung by these guys. Because of their aggressiveness, we really don't want the Africanized honeybees around either, so it's always a good idea to get rid of a colony when you have one. Most people are surprised to find that beekeepers won't come out for free and remove their bees. And the truth is that beekeepers really want to know their bees. They don't want just wild or feral bees that they pull out of just anyone's house. They want to know exactly where their bees came from and make sure that they're parasite free. So don't be surprised when you don't get a beekeeper jumping at the opportunity to come and take your bees. If you're not a bug person, yellow jackets are very similar to honeybees. They both sting, they're both yellow, but outside of that, they're pretty different. And one of the biggest differences, yellow jackets typically around here, they live in the ground. Up north, they tend to live in the walls and the ceilings, but down here in Florida, they live in the ground. They can make tiny nests about the size of a volleyball, or they can make huge nests. I found one once that was 10 feet up a tree from the ground, 10 feet high. It was massive. Another difference is yellow jackets are out to sting. When they get upset, they come at you hard. So I can go into a honeybee hive with the bee suit on And the bees are gonna try to sting me, but they're really not that bad. This is Dusty Showers with Creepy Creatures, and it's been a bad year for yellow jackets here in the Tampa Bay area. And I just want to show you a little bit about how yellow jackets are and what can happen when you stumble upon a nest. Now, if I wasn't suited up, it's possible that I could have over 100 stings of these guys. And yes, it's absolutely possible to die from stings from yellow jackets. The last thing that you want to do is stumble on one of these nests, and you never want to try to take care of one of these things by yourself unless you absolutely know what you're doing. Oh, and I've got one inside. Here's something pretty cool. This yellow jacket has its stinger stung in my glove, but you can see he's still trying to fly away. They never give up. So let's see what happens when we really stir them up. Oh yeah, here they come now. Look at them pouring out of there. I've dealt with yellow jackets enough to know that if there's the smallest place for them to get in, they're gonna get in and they're gonna sting over and over. These guys are all over. I can hear them buzzing. I can hear them pinging off my bee suit. Really get your adrenaline going. Don't ever try this on your own. And I've got one inside. I told my daughter and trusty assistant Tegan that we had to check my wrists and my ankles really close, because if there's the smallest place for them to get in, they're gonna get in and they're gonna sting me. Ah, they're finding their way inside. And somehow one found its way in, then another, then another. I never expected there to be a hole in my bee suit, and then I realized I have a spaz dog that was jumping on my bee suit in the back seat of my truck. Oh, so you're gonna blame it on me, Dad? Not you. Her. Yeah, you're the culprit. Blue's always the culprit, Dad. You're a good boy, Dave. Don't try yellow jackets on your own.
Got stuck there, and there, there, and there, and there. And it looks like your eyes sewed shut.
Yellow jackets, bald-faced hornets, and even paper wasps all have a place in nature. By the way, mud daubers and paper wasps are very non-aggressive. The other ones, if they're too close, they can cause serious issues. But if they're off on their own, just let them be.
Depending on where you live, you may also see nests in trees that are kind of shaped like a volleyball. Those are bald-faced hornets. Bald-faced hornets will get you. They're great insects to have around, but you don't want to be too close to them. They can be highly aggressive and they will sting. Don't mess with these guys on your own.
Luckily, this nest was not that big, but if it was a large nest, I could have had hundreds of stings on my head. If this had been a big nest, I could have absolutely been killed. Ow! Ow!
Yellow jackets, no bueno.
In the north, most yellow jacket nests are inside walls and ceilings, and they eventually break into homes where you can get hundreds of them inside your house. In the south, most yellow jacket nests occur in the ground. The largest one I've ever dealt with was 6 feet by 6 feet and 2.5 feet deep. That's a big yellow jacket nest. And I had one in a hollow tree that was 10 feet high. The nest, yes, 10 feet high from the ground up the tree, the middle of the tree. It was awesome. Yeah, I got stung on that too. And remember, always be kind to possums. Yeah, I said possums. They're awesome. Why? This is what I mean. See, why? What? You, seriously? You ripped apart a 20... This is why I don't leave you in my truck. I'm not yelling at you, I'm yelling at her. How? Why? You literally tore my money up. You tore my money up. Jeez, Blue. Sit, possum, sit. Good possum.